Hi guys, this is Xanet, and this is my very first Facebook Live. And it's really interesting because I have been procrastinating for months, literally, to do this very first Facebook Live. In fact, I even had my VA create an icon like 3 months ago, Facebook Live every Friday. And I was really hoping to be able to start doing it. And what I realized was that I have a lot of judgment and a lot of self-doubt about doing this, which is really interesting for me because I'm somebody, you give me a job, you do it. Xanet, write a book, I write a book. Do an online program, I do an online program. And it's not anything I have any issues about. In fact, I love doing video. I get on and do online programs and classes and have no issues with it. And I was really trying to understand for myself, what was it that was holding me back from being able to participate with my friends and the community in this way? And I finally realized that it was actually a very deep peace inside of myself, and it's actually what's happening right now, that people are watching and I'm trying to invite them and it's confusing. And what I'm wanting is what I'm concerned about is when you do these live videos, there are all these hearts that are showing up, and it's really sweet and really exciting. And as somebody who struggles with this issue around self-judging and feeling like I'm not good enough, it has made it really challenging for me to do this video. So, but here I am. I'm taking the first step and I'm actually doing it. And the work that I do around intimacy and around relationships and around vulnerability is very, very key to what I'm actually experiencing right now. It's incredibly vulnerable to get on this Facebook Live thing. I have all these things flashing at me. I have no idea what to do. I have invite friends things going on. I have no idea how to do that either. But here I am, just trying to really be present and stay in my body and interact. So this piece in which many of us, and this is particularly true for women, where we feel like we have this, I'm not good enough. You know, I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not young enough. You can put any one of the sentences before the I'm not enough, and it's something that a lot of women really experience. And for many of us, it goes back, certainly for me, it goes back to childhood issues, right? When we look at blocks that we have around not loving ourselves deeply enough and not being able to really love and be intimate with other people deeply enough, it often goes back to attachment wounds. And attachment wounds happen way back in childhood. And many of us, myself included for sure, have some attachment issues that really prevented us from being able to feel 100% secure, or as secure as we could in our childhood, based on the familial situation that we were in, and it has an impact on us. And that's what I realized was holding me back from being able to do Facebook Live, because I really want desperately to be able to share my work with people this way, and to be able to be, you know, sort of spontaneous and say like, oh, here's something I really want to share with you that I just thought about, or an experience that I have that's related to my work as a sex and intimacy and relationship coach. And that was what's holding me back, and that is a huge piece for other people as well. And so I just wanted to share that that feeling of not feeling good enough is very common. And it stems really from us not being able to really love ourselves fully, right? It goes back to self-love. If I can totally, completely accept myself, embrace myself, and love myself, then that feeling of not good enough doesn't show up for me as strongly. When I'm feeling self-doubt, it's because I'm not really loving myself. And often that loving myself is not loving my adult self in my 50s. It's loving that inner child self, right? That little girl, that little boy who was 7 or 8 years old and was feeling abandoned or feeling neglected or feeling not loved or feeling like their needs weren't being met. That's the person. That is who showed up for me in the last 2 months, right? It's like that person sitting on my shoulder, that little 8-year-old saying, if you do this, nobody's going to watch it because you're not important, right? If you do this, you're not going to know what to say because you're stupid. If you do this, you're going to look old. Like all of those self-negative doubts and negative beliefs are showing up and were showing up for me. And I realized that it wasn't the me who's showing up, right? My adult self, but really my child self. And that's what happens. That's often what happens in when we get triggered, when we're in a relationship with a partner, with a friend, or in a business situation, and we get triggered by something that's said or something that's done. It's not actually the adult self that's showing up at the moment. It's that child self, right? There's not actually an adult in the room. There's a little child in the room. And the more that we can be aware that there's a little child in the room and not an adult in the room, the more we can tend to that person, to that little child, to make sure that they get what they need, that they're feeling loved, that they're feeling connected. So that's my musings for today. I am going to learn more how to do this Facebook Live because it looks like I'm supposed to be inviting friends, and I have no idea how to do that while I'm talking to you guys. But I'm going to figure that out. And it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was kind of fun. Hopefully you can hear me. And you'll hear more from me about musings from Xanet, from The Power of Pleasure, on love and relationships and intimacy.